Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to share with you a story that carries a deep lesson about integrity, courage, and the true meaning of honor. This story is called The Great Honor. It is a story that will stay with you long after you hear it, because it is not just about glory or recognition, but about what it truly means to stand by your principles and do what is right, even when no one is watching. Once, in a small but prosperous kingdom nestled between rolling hills and flowing rivers, there lived a young man named Aaron. Aaron was the son of a humble blacksmith, a man known for his skill and honesty. From a young age, Aaron learned the values of hard work, patience, and humility. He spent his days helping his father in the forge, learning the art of shaping metal into tools, weapons, and everyday items. But what Aaron loved most was listening to the stories of old that his father would tell him in the evenings, stories of bravery, justice, and honor. Aaron often dreamed of becoming someone who would make a difference in the world, someone whose name would be remembered not for wealth or power, but for courage and integrity. But he also knew that true honor was not something that could be demanded or taken, it had to be earned. It was something that came from the heart and was proven through actions. As Aaron grew older, the kingdom faced a time of great uncertainty. The king, a wise but aging ruler, had no sons to inherit the throne. He decided to test the young men of the kingdom to find a worthy successor, not through birthright, but through deeds. A grand challenge was announced across the land. The king would give a rare jewel, known as the Sapphire of Honor, to the young man who could demonstrate true courage, wisdom, and selflessness. This jewel was not just valuable, it was a symbol of trust and responsibility. The one who received it would be entrusted with the welfare of the people and the legacy of the kingdom. News of this challenge spread like wildfire. Many young men, from nobles to commoners, prepared to participate, hoping to prove their worth. Some sought fame, others wanted wealth, and a few were driven by genuine desire to serve the kingdom. Aaron, however, was not motivated by greed or ambition. He felt a quiet calling deep within his heart, a sense that if he could serve the kingdom with honesty and courage, he would be fulfilling the lessons he had learned from his father. The first test set by the king was one of skill. Each candidate was asked to complete a series of tasks that tested their intelligence, strength, and agility. Aaron, despite being a blacksmith's son, performed admirably. His years in the forge had made him strong and disciplined, and his curiosity and attention to detail gave him an edge in solving puzzles and understanding complex mechanisms. Yet, he noticed that some of the other young men were using deceit or shortcuts to gain advantage, and while their results were impressive on the surface, Aaron felt no satisfaction in such hollow victories. After the skill test came the trial of courage. The candidates were taken to the edge of a dark forest known to be inhabited by wild animals and treacherous paths. They were told that within the forest lay a golden apple, a symbol of bravery, which they had to retrieve and present to the king. Many young men rushed in recklessly, seeking the apple as quickly as possible, but they soon found themselves trapped by fear, confusion, or the dangers lurking within. Aaron, however, moved cautiously, observing his surroundings, helping those who had been injured, and showing patience in the face of fear. Though he was slower than others, he successfully reached the center of the forest and returned with the golden apple, not only having completed the task but also having demonstrated that true courage was measured by composure and compassion, not reckless speed. The final challenge, however, was the one that would define the future of the kingdom. The king announced that he would place a single coin, the coin of justice, in a marketplace, and whoever found it first could claim the Sapphire of Honor. But there was a catch. Along with the coin, the king had left instructions: the finder must be willing to give it to someone else if they deem the other more deserving. This test was not about speed or cunning but about the purity of one's heart and the ability to recognize true honor in others. On the day of this final challenge, the marketplace was filled with candidates, merchants, and onlookers. Everyone was eager to find the coin, and chaos soon erupted as men scrambled and pushed one another. Aaron, however, noticed a frail old man struggling to carry his basket of goods. Many others ignored him, too focused on the coin, but Aaron paused. He helped the old man carry the basket and ensured he was safe before even glancing for the coin. As he finally reached the area where the coin was hidden, he saw a young boy, no older than 10, struggling to lift the coin from the ground. Aaron could have taken it immediately, but instead, he knelt down and assisted the boy, lifting the coin together. The king, who had been observing all along, stepped forward and addressed the crowd. Many of you have shown skill, bravery, and ambition, but few have shown true honor. Honor is not in the taking, but in the giving. It is not in seeking glory, but in lifting others along the way. Aaron, you have not only completed the tasks with integrity, but you have demonstrated selflessness, compassion, and wisdom beyond your years. Aaron felt a rush of emotions, pride, gratitude, and a deep sense of responsibility. He accepted the sapphire of honor, but more importantly, he understood the weight of the trust placed upon him. The jewel was not just a reward, it was a reminder that true honor comes from actions guided by conscience and kindness, not from titles or possessions. In the months that followed, Aaron took his role seriously. He visited villages, listened to the concerns of the people, and worked tirelessly to improve their lives. He introduced fair laws, supported education, and encouraged fairness and justice at every level. People began to speak of him not as a ruler, but as a servant leader, someone who carried the heart of a common man and the vision of a wise king. One day, a neighboring kingdom attempted to challenge the peace of Aaron's land. They sent spies and soldiers, hoping to exploit any weakness. Many advised Aaron to respond with force and aggression, but he remembered the lessons of his journey. Instead, he invited the envoys of the neighboring kingdom for dialogue, listened to their concerns, and proposed solutions that benefited both lands. His courage and wisdom in handling the situation earned him respect not only from his people but from the neighboring kingdoms as well. Years passed, and Aaron grew older, yet he remained humble and approachable. The sapphire of honor continued to shine, not just as a jewel, but as a symbol of the legacy he had built, one of fairness, integrity, and compassion. His story spread across the lands, inspiring generations to come. Parents told their children about Aaron, not as a man who had won a jewel, but as someone who had understood the essence of honor, the kind that is earned through deeds, not demanded through status or fear. One evening, as Aaron sat by the river reflecting on his life, a young boy approached him, holding a small wooden sword. The boy asked, "Sir, I want to be brave like you. How can I earn honor?" Aaron smiled, seeing himself in the boy's eager eyes. He replied, "Honor is not about being brave in front of others. It is about being true to yourself, helping those in need, and standing up for what is right, even when it is hard. Every act of kindness, every moment of integrity, is a step towards true honor. Remember, it is not a jewel or a title that makes a person great, but their heart and their choices." The boy nodded and ran off, inspired by the words. Aaron watched him disappear into the distance and realized that the greatest honor he had ever received was not the jewel, nor the recognition, but the opportunity to shape a world where values, kindness, and courage mattered more than gold or power. And so, the story of Aaron, the young blacksmith who became a beacon of honor, reminds us that true greatness is measured not by what we gain for ourselves, but by what we give to others. It teaches us that courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to do what is right in spite of it. It shows us that integrity is not a choice made once, but a habit cultivated in every decision we make. And above all, it teaches us that honor is not inherited, bought, or claimed, it is earned through love, compassion, and steadfast principles. Whenever you face a choice in life, remember Aaron. Remember that the easy path may bring immediate rewards, but the path of integrity and kindness leads to a legacy that shines far beyond our own lifetimes. Honor is not a crown, it is a way of living. It is in the hands of those who act with courage, speak with truth, and serve with humility. So, as you go about your day, think about the small actions you take, the words you speak, the help you offer, the fairness you practice. Each act is a brick in the foundation of your own honor. And while the world may not always recognize it immediately, one day, those actions will ripple outward in ways you cannot imagine, shaping not only your destiny but the lives of countless others. That is the true lesson of the great honor, that a life lived with integrity, courage, and compassion is the most valuable legacy anyone can leave behind. And in a world that often values wealth and power above all else, it is those who choose the path of honor who truly shine the brightest, and that, my friends, is the story of the great honor. A story that reminds us that while titles, jewels, and recognition are fleeting, the impact of a life led with honesty, courage, and love is eternal.